Update: 15 years ago, my then 18 female best friend, 18 female, got pregnant by my boyfriend, 20 male, of 3 years. My family knew about it but didn't tell me, so I ran away from home. Now we are back in contact after 15 years, and my 33 female mom, 59 female, demands I amend my relationship with my ex-boyfriend and my ex-best friend. Original post: I am new to Reddit and really have no idea how to work it. I really just want to share my story, so I'm trying again. Thank you to all who commented on my previous post. I never realized how many amazing people are on here and really appreciate the many advices that I received. This is a long story that really started some 15 years ago. It really impacted my 33 female life, so please bear with me. When I was 18 and in my senior year of high school, I really believed my life was on a good track. I lived with my parents and 4 siblings, 23 male, 22 male, 20 female, and 14 female, and spent most of my days hanging out with my best friend Ashley, 18 female, and or my boyfriend of 3 years, Kyle, 20 male. Both Ashley and Kyle's parents were best friends with my parent, so I knew both of them since we were in diapers. We spent holidays together, birthdays, and visited each other all the time as we lived in the same town. Ashley's been my friend for 18 years, and she truly was the person I trusted with everything. Sometimes her parents would joke that we were connected by the hip as we were together all the time. I had been dating Kyle for the last 3 years. I believed he was the love of my life and the one that I would eventually marry. We were quite serious and even talked about getting married after he finished college. He was a sophomore at that point. Although I had every plan on going to the university, I was quite content with the idea of being married to Kyle and being a stay-at-home mom. My parents loved Kyle and supported our relationship. I really was happy. I think I should note here that my sister, 20 female, was also dating Kyle's brother, 23 male, and that all of our siblings were very close. One day at the beginning of the school year, I noticed that Ashley was being very melancholic and detached. After a while of prodding, she told me she was pregnant. I was very surprised because I didn't know she and her boyfriend broke up a while ago, and I didn't know she had anyone else that was in her life. I asked her who the father was, and she didn't want to talk about it, but in a way implied that the ex was the father. She was absolutely distraught, so I dropped the topic and just consoled her. I was with her when she told her family, and while her parents were disappointed, they promised to support her in whatever she decides. They tried to make her share the dad's name, but she refused and made me promise to stay quiet. They did not know she had a boyfriend at one point. I was there for her for the next 9 months. I went with her for an ultrasound, doc's appointments. I was there for her when she was bullied in school for being pregnant. I helped her set up the nursery. I was there when she was sick or just felt down. I held a baby shower for her, went shopping with her. I even went and took some parenting classes with her. We chose names together, and she even asked me to be with her in the delivery room. I noticed that the pregnancy was really taking a toll on her emotionally and physically, and I tried to support her in every way possible. She was my best friend, always there for me, and I loved her. Some 2 weeks before her due date, I went to the mall to run some errands and ran into her ex. Although I promised never to contact her, the knowledge of my friend's emotional state sent me into a fit of anger, and I confronted him. I gave him a piece of my mind, told him what a piece of shit he was for leaving his ex pregnant and alone and not caring for his unborn child. He was shocked and said that he had no idea what I was talking about. Ashley never told him about the pregnancy, and when I told him she was 9 months pregnant at the time, he said that it was not possible for him to be the father, as they broke up over a year ago and had no relations since then. I was confused but apologized for yelling at him in the middle of the mall. After that, he became snarky, said some nasty stuff, and mentioned that maybe I should ask Ashley's friend Kyle if he is the dad. I didn't really think about his words in any way. Kyle and Ashley have been friends their entire lives. We were always very close because of our parents' relationship, but they never showed any sign of being anything more. That evening, my younger sister, 14 female, and I were preparing to have a movie night. I began ranting to her about confronting Ashley's ex, and in his words, My sister, who is usually very outspoken, got quiet and didn't really respond to anything I said. After a while, she excused herself and went to the bathroom. I decided to go and check and get some snacks and went downstairs to the kitchen and heard my younger sister berating my mother. This part of my memory is really fuzzy as I was dealing with a lot of emotions. My sister told my mom about me running into Ashley's ex and his words, and told my mom she no longer wanted to hide from me the fact that Kyle was Ashley's baby's father. I was shocked, absolutely shocked. I stumbled into the kitchen and demanded an explanation. Both my mom and my sister became white as a sheet when they saw me, and my sister started crying her eyes out. My sister explained to me some things I also learned from other people later that appeared during the end of the summer break. Kyle and Ashley attended the same house party, got drunk, and slept together. Ashley got pregnant and told Kyle, but they were both ashamed and afraid of telling me. They also didn't share this with their parents. Ashley, however, couldn't keep the secret and told her mom and dad, who told Kyle's parents and later mine as well. This all happened when Ashley was in her first trimester. By her second trimester, all of my siblings, Kyle's and Ashley's siblings, knew about this, everyone except for me. I simply cannot explain the way that I felt. I was physically ill for the next 3 days and I couldn't speak to anyone. My parents were apologetic but explained that they didn't want to see me hurt or ruin everyone's relationship. I did not speak with Kyle or Ashley, although they bombarded my phone with messages and calls and also came to my house. I refused to see them. At one point, Kyle's mom came to our house, and my mom allowed her into my room while I was laying in my bed, ill and just emotionally drained from the betrayal. She tried to convince me to forgive them and how Ashley and the baby need me. I said nothing. 2 weeks later, Ashley went into labor. I learned from my parents that she had a hard delivery. She lost a lot of blood and needed an emergency C-section. Kyle apparently was at the birth. I was distraught and inconsolable because of the betrayal by both, because I planned to be there and now physically and emotionally couldn't, because I was looking forward to this moment for months. So many reasons. My older sister immediately went to the hospital to be with her boyfriend. My other siblings weren't at home, so I was left home alone with my parents. All I wanted was to lay in my bed or cuddle in my bed with my mom and cry all my feelings out. My mom received a call from Ashley's mom. She came to my room and told me that she and dad were going to the hospital. I was perplexed and asked her to stay with me. She said that Ashley's parents need all the support that they can get, and that we will discuss everything later. I tried to tell her not to go, that I also need their support. But she said not to be selfish, and they left. I was left alone at the house, and I just couldn't comprehend what happened in the last few weeks. I couldn't believe that my parent would go and support someone who hurt me so much, while I was also here suffering. Am I really selfish to think like that? I don't know when, but my sadness turned into rage, the kind that I'd never experienced before. In a fit of combined emotions and feelings of betrayal, I started packing my bags and decided to leave home. It didn't take a while, but I started having second thoughts and just sat in the living room feeling empty. After a while, I received a text from my sister. The text said that Ashley gave birth to a healthy girl and that they were both okay. She attached a pic of the newborn and told me they named her Sarah, the name Ashley and I chose some months ago. She sent a second text a while later telling me that my parents and she were going to join Ashley's and Kyle's parents to go to a bar in the town to celebrate. I don't remember much after that. I think I was just consumed by everything, and my memory is very foggy. I took a train and left. I stayed at a hotel in Phoenix for a while. I got a job at a store and planned to finish high school there. My parents' siblings, Kyle and Ashley, tried to contact me. My mom was sending me a panicked voicemail demanding me to come back. They also reported me as a missing person. And now for the comments before reading the update. Your mother hasn't changed. Her priority is still her friends and their children. It certainly isn't you. She doesn't respect you or your boundaries. She certainly feels no regret. Cut ties. Speak to your niece if you want, but no one else. Your mother will never change. You were the victim in all of this, and they were too self-absorbed and selfish to see it. Your family is toxic. I've read this post multiple times, and honestly, just run. Your mother doesn't value you. They showed no regard for your emotional well-being or mental health. Only your younger sister showed a little. I mean, they even went to the hospital and then out to celebrate the baby's birth. It's like your pain was nothing. They have all betrayed you so very much. You deserve better. Keep your chin high and walk away. This times 100,000. And OP, you owe Kyle and Ashley absolutely nothing. Their relationship falling apart if their issue is not yours. They both betrayed you in a way each other because neither will ever trust the other because they both know they are both shitty people. Stay the course, cut contact, and believe these are all the crappy people you believed them to be 15 years ago because they are still and always will be. OP, please listen to this. Your mother does not care about you. She only wants to maintain the status quo, irrespective of the effect it has on you. You're a mother now. Imagine caring more about maintaining relationships with your friends over taking care of your own child. Her behavior cannot be justified. I find it interesting that it took a 14-year-old to track OP down and start contact when not one of the adults in OP's family seemed to have made any attempts. I also find it interesting that the contact eventually led to a request for the now successful OP and her husband to extend financial support to the family who hadn't bothered to attempt to build bridges in the previous 15 years. Family is still as self-centered and toxic as they ever were, and now they are using and teaching the next generation their ways. OP, if you want confirmation from the internet that going low or no contact with your family for their complete disregard of you, your feelings, or your boundaries, then you've got it from me at least. Keep in contact with your niece if that's what you want, but be prepared to maintain strong boundaries with her too. As young as she is, your family have already used her as a tool once and may well do so again. Plus, she's been raised in this Kyle can do no wrong, OP can do no wrong atmosphere, and while I hope that she can be like you and buck the family trend, you should proceed with caution. Don't be surprised if talk of needing financial assistance with college comes up in the future, and that the expectation will then be extended to other nieces, nephews, and even Kyle and Ashley's children. They are not your priority. Your husband and children are. Be well, and congratulations on building yourself such a good life and family out of the ashes your birth family left you with. You deserve every happiness you can find. Now for the updates. Update 1. 2 years later. My gosh, it's been 2 years since I posted this. A lot of people have been asking me for an update. First of all, I want to thank all the wonderful people who gave me and have been sending me updates and lovely messages. I'm truly thankful. A lot of things have happened in the last few years, not all great. Without making these 100 pages long, I never mentioned that my little sister in my original post. Her relationship with my parents went downhill after I left home, and she went no contact with them when she was 20. I received her number from our older sister, and although it was awkward at first, it's been 15 years after all, we did start speaking again. She was very angry at me for leaving. A lot has happened in her life, and it wasn't the easiest. She has a toddler and a baby of her own, and I have to say that the kids have helped us bond again. She's my best friend, and we talk every day. As for my other siblings, I'm in regular contact with both my brothers, although we aren't close. My older sister and I have a good relationship now, but last year, we've had a longer period of not speaking. As she is married to Kyle's brother, it was hard for me to deal with all of our and their family drama. We are cool now, and I have a lovely relationship with my nieces and nephews. I didn't go to my niece's birthday party. It just seemed like it would be too hard for me. Now to my parents. This one is a little painful for me to write, and at the time, it felt like I was reliving all those shitty emotions I had at 18. My mom didn't let up with her pestering over me not talking with Kyle and Ashley. Her calls for that continued for months, even after I was home again. It bordered on emotional blackmail. She blamed me for not honoring her wishes for her friendship problems and health problems, and even accused me of keeping her grandbabies from her. Last June, I had my daughter, and it seemed like that sent her completely over the rail. What I mean by that, 100 plus calls a day, messages every 20 minutes to pester me about random things, sending me updates about people I never wanted to know about. When she started pestering Dean, I was done. I was afraid to block her, so I spoke to my father. This was probably the first time in the last 17 years that we had a true heart-to-heart conversation. I was emotionally drained, tired from caring for 3 children, and just over everything. I've probably poured all my feelings and emotions onto him. I don't know what happened to them afterwards. He doesn't speak much about it. Her calls slowly ceased, and something must have happened because in August, he filed for a divorce. My father and I are in regular contact, although I don't think we'll ever be back to normal. Mom is devastated. In August, her calls became insane, and apparently not just with me. I've changed my number since then, and as of February, she has not been able to reach me. I've been told by one of my brothers that she has problems with anxiety and depression and lost a lot of friends. I don't really know whether or not she continues to have a relationship with Kyle and Ashley's family. I don't want to have anything to do with her anymore, nor do I want her near my kids. The things she said to me and about my husband, whom she really doesn't know, and after 15 years of no contact, is crazy. Although I regret not having a mom, I feel like trying and fighting to repair the little remnants of our relationship would be a waste of my emotional energy and just pure torture. As for Kyle and Ashley, I've received some calls from Kyle's mom, and as I mentioned in my original post, I blocked her and no other calls have been received from anyone. I really don't know what they are doing or where they are. I've had no contact with them. The only thing that really happened is that in August, when shit went downhill, my brother-in-law, Kyle's brother, brought me a letter apparently written by Ashley. I've not opened it, and I really don't know if I want to. I feel like I've moved on from them, but on the other hand, I'm curious as to what she has to say after so many years. However, that in itself could bring back some bad emotions. I'm doing okay now. My babies and Dean, who is a real trooper in all this, I'm trying to focus on my family and really hope that this is all behind me. Update 2. Dear everyone, I have no idea if anyone will see this, but during the last few months since I posted my update, I've received many messages with advice and words of support. I have no way of thanking you, but know that your words truly mean a lot to me. I try to reply to everyone, but it sometimes takes me a while. A lot of the questions have been asked in these messages, and I can't answer them all at this time. I plan on updating soon, just to quickly answer the most common ones. I have not read the letter yet. Soon after updating, I started therapy again, and Dean and I decided that it would be best if I gave the letter to my therapist and let him decide when and if I am ever ready to read it. I have not spoken to my mom since the update. I've received messages on Facebook from her and Ashley's mom, which is the first. The latter I didn't even read. I've since deactivated my Facebook for the time being. Neither Kyle nor Ashley tried to contact me via any social media. The only thing I know is that Kyle was asking my brother-in-law for my address or number, but brother-in-law refused them. That's when Ashley gave him the letter. Brother-in-law is no contact with his family ATM. They are separated as per my brother-in-law, but he does not know whether they are divorced or not. Last week, my dad was in town. He does not know my address and has never been to my house. For the first time in almost 2 decades, we had an open, honest conversation. I have to admit it was a lot and I was not good for a few days afterwards, but it was necessary. I learned a lot about my mom. A lot of you tried to imply that there must have been something in her past to make her the way she is. In the time between them learning Ashley was pregnant and my return 2 years ago, it's a lot to unpack, and I'll probably be in therapy for a long time. It's a lot really, so I'll have to write a separate update. Also, my little sister. She was not at fault, and I never blamed her for hiding the secret from me. She was a teen, she knew it was wrong, but she was put under a lot of pressure by our mom. After I left, her life was hell and our mom was insufferable and blamed her for a lot of things. Again, thank you for your words and support and encouragement. Lots of you sent words for Dean as well, and he has read them. You're right, he is the best, and I probably would not have been where I am today without him. Please appreciate your families, if they are there for you in good and bad, of course. Call your parents and siblings and tell them how much you love them. In moments like this, we realize how much we undervalue the good people in our lives. Thank you, and I hope you're all well. OOP added this comment. Hello, she was never bullied before, really. It started after she got pregnant. Our state is pretty conservative, so it wasn't well received that she was pregnant, unmarried, and without a partner. There was no physical violence. People were quite mean and kept reminding her of her mistakes. I don't know if people knew that he was the father. I always just assumed it was because she was pregnant. I've learned from my dad that apparently they weren't hooking up with each other before, but that could be a lie. But apparently she did like him, so it wasn't really just an awkward drunk one-night stand with just anyone. Knowing this fact would probably kill me back then, but I sort of assumed without being told. Her ex suspected it. They didn't date anymore at the party, but I think he also never liked Kay, so seeing them together like that was a red flag. I wasn't a party animal, nor was she, but I don't know, they just went that day. I don't remember if they went together or separately, but I'd assume the latter. She did have other friends after all who enjoyed night outs. The drunkenness part I really don't remember, them being that heavy drinkers. At least I never saw her drunk to the point that she was reckless or had lost memory. So I never really believed that part much, but I wasn't there. And really, it doesn't matter, drunk or not, it was a betrayal. I read some of Kyle's texts back then. I never answered any of the phone calls or anything. I never spoke to them, but after I learned that he was the father, I kind of regret that now maybe it would have been more beneficial for everyone if I gave them a good earful, expressed all the pain, and gone no contact after that. But I just wasn't in the right state of mind, and I was sick a lot back then. This current letter is from her, and I haven't read it yet. At this point, I believe that my mom is grieving the loss of a tight family friendship unit that we had when I was younger and some other relationship. She has yet to realize that none of her 5 kids speak or see her. None of her grandchildren see her. None of us, as far as I know, speak to her. That in itself would be the end for me. I can't imagine what emotional state she must be in. We all agree that we need psychological and psychiatric help. She refused. Dad and eldest brother tried, but you can't convince someone like that. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister she is no longer the it girl? So I, 25 female, have a sister, 30 female. We are from a small town where everyone knows each other. When we were younger, she was the it girl of our town. She was really pretty, social, and well-liked by everyone in general. I was the opposite. I looked like Dobby from Harry Potter. I was extremely skinny, had crooked teeth, frizzy hair, and a huge nose. Really grotesque to look at in general. When people saw us together, they would get really surprised. They would often ask us whether we have the same dad or not. On top of that, I always felt that my sister was ashamed of me. She never wanted to take me anywhere or wouldn't like being seen with me. She even told me it's because people ask her questions about me. The thing that really annoyed me was when her friends would make fun of me. They would often call me the little goblin, and my sister never stuck up for me. Anyway, since I knew from a young age people wouldn't like me or my looks, I always worked on my grades. I went to a good university. Then I worked on my looks. I gained weight, got a hair care routine, got a nose job, and got braces. Now I look 7 out of 10. My sister's life, on the other hand, didn't go as well. She went to the university, dropped out, got married, and got divorced and moved back at home and works in a market. She also gained a lot of weight because of stress. This summer, she called me asking whether she could come stay with me and my fiance for a while. She told me she cannot live with my mom anymore and there is nothing to do in a small town. I agreed and she started living with us. The issue is, whenever she gets the chance to talk about her past, she says how much I've changed and tells everyone my looks weren't always great. The other day we were out with my friends and she did that again. But she also showed the most unflattering childhood picture of me and people started laughing. I don't know what happened, but I started seeing red. I told her she also looks really different now, like 40 pounds heavier. She is no longer the it girl, and so she should stop acting that way. She is the girl who lives with her sister's house rent-free and tries to embarrass her. We are currently not talking, so Reddit, am I the a-hole? Edit. As some of you have guessed it, I don't really talk about my braces and my nose job with other people. It's not something I hide. I just don't randomly bring it up saying I've got this and this done. I think that's why my friends were surprised. That's all for today. If you're enjoying this story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you.